You're listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hayner.
Hey guys, it's Zoom the TBT, and today I'm really happy. It's one of my favorite shows every year. As a D3 alum myself, we are bringing on We Are D3 head coach GM Mike Rejniak, star guard Ty Nichols. Gentlemen, how you doing this afternoon?
Doing good.
Okay,
I am being back. We're back on the horse again.
There we go. And fresh off. By the way, people who follow TBT knows We Are D3 has had a lot of near misses in their run. I think this will be your 6th year, correct? Did I have it right? Seventh. Yeah, I'm off. 7th year. 7 years. And they didn't win a game the first few times. They've had some close losses. What was, by the way, the most heartbreaking loss for you guys, Resh?
Kansas.
For
sure. Kansas. 100%. Kansas followed up by Boeheim's Army year 2.
Okay, and you've been close. I think all but one of your losses was actually pretty close.
Yeah, and we got smacked by Wichita. We had a couple injuries kind of going into it, which is kind of shaky. It was kind of weird, but that was the one blowout. Everything else was, but I would say it was then it would definitely go Kansas, Boeheim's Army, Heartfire.
Yeah, and you were up, I believe, in all 3 of those games at half, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So you've had some tough luck, but we did end the tough luck last year with the win. So first of all, Ty, how did it feel last year getting your first TBT win with the squad?
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing, just considering what the program had been through the past few years. But I think just the overall commitment from the players, from top shelf, one of the managers all the way down to the 12th, 13th player on the team. I think we all just brought in because we knew how we lost the year prior when we lost to Kansas. And then we didn't want that to happen again. So I think we all just brought into, the new concepts that Reg brought to the table. And we executed it well in the first game.
Hey, Reg has concept. I thought he just brought vibes.
Hey, man, he brings the opposite. Definitely doesn't bring vibes. Nah. I mean, he brought a couple of different things than what we did against Kansas, just because the opponent we were playing was different. And then, he just kind of instilled into each and every one of us. And, we just went out there and played our game. And we hit a lot of shots, which always helps.
That always helps. I mean, basketball is a results-based business. The shots have to fall. You can play great, have great process. Sometimes the shots don't fall. Reg, talking a little bit about that, I want to get into the D3 experience in a minute, but since Ty brought that up, talking about the planning, TBT is a summer tournament where basically the teams are brought together with some degree of a training camp, some cohesion, but it is still almost basically a pro-am in the sense you're bringing teams there for a short time. How hard is it in year 7 to set up an offense, get people cohesive, to really have a team play as a team in such a short time setup?
Well, there is an art to it. Like myself, Jay Harris, who's a coach with us, and top shelf David Clark, who's another coach with us. We really sit down, and how you comprise the team. You got to have, if you're going to be in this for a long haul like we've been, you got to have some veterans like Ty, who kind of know my coaching and know kind of what we're about, and then you start to filter in some newbies so that the train can continue, to get going. Especially like some of the concepts that we do, like are same in philosophy, but just little tweaks here and there to continue to add to it. And I'm very fortunate. Like, we have really smart players. So like they really understand the game and know how to play. And it's very rare to find players like Ty, Demetrius Underwood, Mark Zazor, where they are very high IQ players, but have that killer instinct. I'm very lucky to coach all 3 of them.
Yeah, and I like how you say, like, having players who fit in a concept or smart, guys who are both really have high IQs on and off the court, but also have that sort of competitive edge is something that is sort of unique to D3 basketball. It's a non-scholarship thing. Ty, can you explain a little bit to people who watch the show, the dozens of them, know what the D3 experience is, but just to reiterate, like, what does it mean to be a Division III athlete as opposed to D1, D2?
It got to start, being a Division III athlete has to start with the love. You got to love the game because you're sacrificing a lot just to play. I mean, most of these scholarship schools and players, they obviously got to travel, so they miss a lot of school Whereas a D3 player, you're hopping on the bus, you're driving 2, 3, however many hours, and then you still got to come back, go to class the next day. And then on top of all of that, you're paying for school. So, I mean, if you're paying for something, you want to get the most out of it. And I think it starts with that. It starts with the love of the game. And then obviously it's a bit different. There's I feel like, in my honest opinion, there's a high level D3 and then there's like a lower level Division 3. So, I mean, if you're blessed to play at that high level Division 3, then you're still getting the same on-court experiences that you would playing against high level, players, because we have some players that transfer from Division 1 to go D3. We have the opposite, D3 to D1. So
yeah,
there's a ton of competition, if you're at the right level in Division 3. So I would say, don't waste your time going somewhere where you're not going to play, and then after 2 years you're going to transfer to a Division 3 school anyway. I would say just start there, build something there, and then after that anything can happen. If you have a great career, you can go overseas. You can enter the NBA draft. It doesn't matter. You just got to have that love for the game, and I think a lot of Division 3 players have that because of the sacrifices we have to make. Whereas if you're on scholarship, it's kind of like given to you. You know what I mean? You don't have to really work for too much. So, I mean,
yeah.
just being a Division 3 athlete, I feel like we love the game a little bit more than most.
Yeah, I mean, and you can make the path because there's multiple players who've gone to the NBA. Devian George, Duncan Robinson have gone D3 to NBA. And you yourself play professionally, Ty. I mean, you play, and you were talking earlier, you played last year, I believe, in Kosovo, right?
Last year, was my first year. My last year, I was in Poland and Germany.
So what has been the experience playing overseas? Like how has that made your life more interesting as opposed to getting travel?
Right. My first year over there was kind of like a culture shock. It's completely different. So I got off the plane. I'll never forget it. My first contract I signed is tattooed right there on my neck. So I'll never forget it. I got off the plane. They were like, "Are you ready?" I'm like, "Ready for what?" It was like, "We have a game." Mind you, this was like a 14-hour flight. I'm like, "Hold on. I didn't meet anybody yet. I don't know the players, the coach." They're like, "Yeah, we have a game." I said, "What time?" They said, "In 2 hours. We go now." I said, "Oh my God." So I ended up playing. We ended up winning the game. I had a pretty solid game.
How many did you have? You definitely just got a bucket.
Oh, it's screenshotted in my phone. I had 18.
Whoa!
I had 18.
On how many shots? Let me ask that one. That's always the question.
Let me see.
Don't you dare say 18 shots.
I was 5 for 15.
18 on 30.
I got them up. I was 5 for 15. I did get them up.
Okay.
Well, five of them went in, so we needed them.
I mean, five of 15 after flight sounds pretty good.
You know what I mean?
That's pretty good.
Nah, but I was so tired. So we ended up winning that game.
And, right? What airlines you fly?
I flew Turkish Airlines over there.
Okay, so that's not so bad. Yeah, at least it's not like
a lot of space,
Spirit or something. Can you imagine like flying to like flying a 14-hour Spirit airline, getting off and being like, hey, you got a game? I'm like, no. I survived a Spirit flight. I am not playing basketball.
I just played a game in the air.
So Reg, talking about like recruiting this team, we've talked about this in the past, but like when you recruit this team, first of all, how much of an advantage is it for you to recruit? Because we are D3, so you have the entirety of Division 3 to recruit from. Yeah. Like, how much is that a blessing and a curse? Because you do have a player pool that may not be as well known as your D1 alums, but you can recruit from a much wider net.
I can tell you right now, like if I was college coaching, I would absolutely hate the portal and NIL. Now that I'm on the pro side, I freaking love it. Because now, like, literally, like, as long as you played, like, a game at Division 3, correction, if you went to a school at a D3 for one day, you fall under my guise of bringing you onto the team. Because, like, I could have sold out a really long time ago. It does not look good to say, like, hey, here's Ty Nichols and four NBA players.
And not to cut you off, Reg. It's crazy that he says this because I tried to introduce him to somebody that played Division 1, and he just left me on red. I'm like, okay, he's really not gonna cave in and grab these Division 1 players. So.
But if he came to the pro combine, I also would have sold that. So
right.
We'll still discuss. We got a couple roster spots available. But I think like it is good the fact that we've carved this niche. Which is good. It does make it tougher, but it also means we also have pick of the litter. Because in my opinion, if you're a D3 player on another TBT roster, quite frankly, then that means either we were filled at your position or something like that. So we're very, we do have pick of the litter when it comes to that, which is very helpful. I think a lot of the exposure and players going from D3 to D1 has helped out a lot with us. So a lot of our players are coming in, really more seasoned. Like Alex Sobel played Division 1 and he had a great year and things like that. We have a kid Sam Peak who played Division 1 who'll be playing with us this year. So like, I think we're very blessed in those regards. But to be honest, we do get our pick of the litter, and basically, if you're not with us and you're a D3 guy, well, then there's something wrong. Because people are always like, well, why didn't you take that guy? Well, because I don't feel like they fit with us. So it is what it is.
Fair enough. Absolutely. Now, Ty, real quick, I think that I love about this event, and I think that most hoops guys love this event, is that there's only so many NBA jobs. Like there's only 30 teams, 15 jobs, 450 jobs. Say it all the time. So 451, you get a passport. That's it. That's how the deal works. So a mixed conception American fans have is, oh, you're not in the NBA, you can't play. First of all, can you talk to me about how insane that is? First of all, like as a concept, like I mean, obviously you get paid, I would assume, a decent living to play ball. So you're living the dream. Like, how nuts is it that people think that way?
I mean, like you said, there's only 450 jobs in the NBA, but there's like a million athletes who want to play professionally. So it just kind of doesn't balance out. So you gotta kind of go with makes sense for you, I guess. And I mean, when you get to Europe, you're traveling, you're seeing all of these, these different countries. Your money's non-taxed. You get an apartment, a car. So I mean, I don't understand like the big, oh, if you're not in the NBA, then, and you know what I mean. So I mean, people just got to kind of figure out what works for them. A lot of
Ty's
people.
car was better than my mortgage in my house that he was driving around in Europe.
That's what I'm
Like
saying.
he
That's
sent
what
me
I'm
a
saying.
picture. It had about a screen about as big as a 76 flat screen. And
That's
he's
what I'm
like
saying.
driving around Kosovo or wherever you were, Poland.
They take care of you. They take care of you. But I mean, I know a lot of people who go to Europe for the first year and just never go back just because of the homesick and the things like that. But I mean, as long as you're mentally strong, Europe's a perfect option for you if you want to continue to play after college.
Yeah, definitely. Now, what was the biggest culture shock moment living overseas? And I've traveled a lot, but I've never. So, unlike you, I've never lived full time overseas. Like I've traveled a lot. I've been to Europe multiple times, but I've never lived there like more than a couple weeks. So, like, what's it like living in our country day to day? What's the biggest culture shock as an American living over there for a full year?
I would have to say just eating their food, because most European countries I've been in, they're modernized, so a lot of people speak English, so the language isn't really too crazy of a thing. But just having to adapt to the way that they eat their food and what they eat is kind of tough. And if you don't have a strong stomach, you probably won't last because I mean you're over there 8-9 months. They probably have 2-3 American fast food restaurants that you can order from, but you're not gonna do that for the whole 8-9 months. So I mean sometimes you gotta kind of make that sacrifice and live how they live. And if you were living a certain way before that and you're not used to it, it may hurt you.
What is one food that you tried while you're overseas that you didn't think you would like and you really liked?
I had frog legs.
Good stuff.
Yeah, but it tastes just like fried chicken.
There you go.
But I would never, the way that they make it, I just can't see it made. Other than that, I can eat it for sure.
Pre-game meal up in Syracuse. Frog legs.
Oh man.
Yeah, oh my lord. Oh my lord. Dear God. So Reg, how did the combine go? Now this is your second year doing this, right? Or is it second year doing the combine. So describe the D3 combine a little bit for people listening.
So the idea of the combine we had about 4 or 5 years ago, a lot of it is to we wanted to provide a platform, like, because with TBT we only get like 14 roster spots. There's obviously more pros that are available, or young guys that are graduating that are looking for pro contracts. So we wanted to provide another platform for them. And there's really not there's a lot of money grabs out there when it comes to getting exposure and things like that. So we wanted to give them a platform, utilize We Are D3 to provide platform for players that maybe can't play with us, a little bit younger. We have juniors that come. We have current pros that look for better contracts. So basically, it's to provide a platform for players to not only get an agent, get a pro team interested in them, but also, like, it's a way for us to also live evaluate. So year one, We had 30 athletes we had at Lehman College in New York City, and 22 of them went pro. That's pretty damn good. This year we had 55 at UMass Boston, where Coach Jay Harris coaches, and it was perfect. His facilities were amazing. He had sickest gear, Ty. Wait till you get the gear from Coach Harris.
I need some. He's selfish.
Yeah, I know. We'll get him some. But he hooked him up with gear. David Clark ran it flawlessly, and like literally already, we took a couple players from it, and already we're in double digits with players that have gone agents, and that's only going to continue to climb, which is freaking awesome.
That's amazing. It's always interesting because as a D3 alum myself, it's always an interesting thing because like how the schools tie in is a little bit different community than Division One schools anyway. I mean, even as a non-athlete, it's interesting. So I went to a D1 grad school. It's just different.
We do everything with them. We test them, all the metrics that teams would want to see, and then we give them all the film, and they play games all afternoon and in front of agents and teams. Like at one point in time, across like all of my blasted out on all of our socials, we had over 1,000 individual viewers. 1,000 individual viewers. Now, 500 of them I'll give to like maybe parents, families, girlfriends, like, but 500 like probably we're legit, and I keep fielding calls from everybody, which is great.
Well, there you go.
And providing obviously a lot of opportunities for players that can't be with us, or maybe will be with us down the line, or D3 guys that have a year left that want to go to Division One, like we were talking about earlier. So it kind of caters to everybody. We had some D1 guys there. We had some D2 guys, D3s. It's more so just providing a platform for those players to showcase their stuff.
That's amazing. It's a really, really good thing to do it. I mean, because D3 players, there's a lot of really great players at Division 3 level for academic reasons, for reasons they just want to be at a different level. They want to go to certain schools. There's always a lot of really great players at that level. Okay, so let's talk a little bit TBT side. So Ty, last year, win number 1, got off the schneid. Big win, very, very cool. Had the defending champs to the edge, to the absolute edge. Was that the one that got away?
Yeah, because I just felt like we played well that whole game. I kind of felt like we played better than them. Not to say that we deserved the win more than them, but I just felt like we played to the point where we could have won the game. We've had multiple chances down the stretch. A couple guys missed some shots. And that's just the way basketball is. You got to either make shots or make shots or miss shots. And they ended up beating us on the offensive rebound, sort of the same way we lost to Kansas the year before. So, I mean, it was tough losing to them because I felt like if we beat them, then anything could have happened after that. But, it was a great experience, obviously, because they won it before. So they've been there. We just basically lost to the team that been there before. So, I mean, if we can compete with them, I feel like we can compete with anybody in the tournament. And, I just felt like it was a great experience, win or loss. And, we're just looking to rebound off of that, regroup, and see what we could make happen this year.
So, Reg, anybody that listens to this show knows that I have a lot of love for your program, and most of the teams do, because most of the teams do this for the right reason. Also, most people who listen to the show know I'm a raging jackass and have a bad sense of humor. So I was giving you guys crap about the 3-point barrage at the end. But we talked about process versus results. And Ty and I were talking with you about the idea of it felt like you guys needed that kill shot 3 to end it. And we talked about how there was a process there. And I was like, why'd you take so many threes? And you said to me, and I will just read what you said, I'll take a Ty Nichols 3 with the game on the line. That's still true, I assume. And 2, can you talk about the process that led to going for the kill shot as opposed to going for 2 buckets? I'm just curious because I was just And again, I'm not faulting the process. I'm just curious about it.
No, like it just goes to trust. I've been with Ty now for a couple years. I trust him implicitly, and he knows that. And I think year 1 with us, like if Ty, you remember that first week, I was like, you just got to do you, dude. I'm giving you the keys to the Maserati, and like I trust his decision making. All those shots were right there. One was down, one was not. I said in the timeout that literally, we had take the best shot available. And Ty one-on-one against anybody is the best shot available. And like, I'm sorry, it is what it is. And like he was the reason one of the reasons why we were there. And for the same reason why it's kind of ebbs and flows of the game, like when it came down to going into Elam, I drew out the play for Daquan Davis to shoot the three. And so like, and he nailed it to go into Elam, and we were tied. So it's kind of like feeling the game. But I think like that's in retrospect, and I've thought about this too all year. It was like literally I sleep well at night because Ty Nichols took that shot. It wasn't Michael Rejniak, Springfield College taking that shot. It was Ty Nichols, taking that shot, which I'm completely okay with. And I think like that's where I do feel like I feel the Heartfire is very well coached, and I think all those players are back, or at least I saw some sort of intro roster. They're going to make a deep run. And I've gotten to know Mark Dyer, their GM, and I feel like we've kind of come to a mutual appreciation for one another. And I really respect the way he runs his program. And I mean, yes, they're old, but I mean those dudes can ball. They're ball. Like I mean, so I wouldn't be shocked if them. I feel like they're going to come out of that region. I do. But I do think that one thing that we got to adjust to is that we're not under the radar anymore. Teams prepare for
No.
us pretty significantly. So kind of like making those tweaks and playing that cat and mouse game is kind of what we're going into this year 7 now.
Yeah, Marcus Hall actually at the finals a couple years ago, the year they won, I was joking around with the coach, Ron, one of the assistants, and he asked what was going to happen. And I said, you guys are going to get run off the court. You're losing by 20. I was just screwing with him.
Yeah.
And I should have known better. I was just kidding around. But he went to Marcus Hall and he told him. So in the press room after, Marcus goes, I heard we're going to lose by 20. I'm like, he told you that? He goes, of course he told me that. Why wouldn't he? I go, oh, Lord. And he goes, thanks for the inspiration to play better. I'm like, you're welcome. I feel like I took a jackass. Ty, that's a good point. He brings this up though. Is like you guys have been the hunted for a while. You guys are now the hunted. I mean, you guys have proven your stones now. So how do you adjust to not being someone people circle as we want them as we got to get them? It's a completely different mindset. Like how's that going to be different this run?
Yeah, I just feel like we got to still play with that chip on our shoulder. Like we're still being the hunter. I mean, obviously there's better teams that are, that have been farther than us in this tournament so far. And every year is a new slate. So I feel like we just got to come in hungry like we did last year. Everybody got to have that laser focus, and we just got to buy in. Everybody just has to play as one. And I just feel like it'll work itself out, man. It's basketball. You're either going to make the shot, you're going to miss the shot, you're going to get a turnover, you're not going to get a turnover. So, I mean, anything can happen on that given day. It's all about the team that comes to play on that given day. So, I mean, I just feel like we just got to continue to play with that chip on our shoulder, give us that edge, and, everything else to take care of itself.
Overseas made you like a basketball Socrates. You're like such a philosopher now, Ty.
This is what I do. I mean, I'm getting old, Reg. I'm getting old.
That's right.
I got knowledge.
Oh my God. I was like, oh my God. Wow. What a thesis presentation about basketball. Make shot and miss shots. Thanks. And
Easy.
Play defense.
Easy.
No, but I think like kind of like what he's saying about being the hunter. I think that's what makes us special is the fact that because of our brand, we've always been, for lack of a better term, shit on. So like, I think they've inherently, all of us, myself included, my staff, the players, they have that chip on their shoulder. I mean, maybe I might or may not coach in TBT. Who knows? I mean, Dolan's a D3 guy from the Knicks, so maybe they hire my butt. So we'll see.
There you go. I mean, the job just came available. Maybe you can finish up what Tibbs started. Okay, let's talk about this region a bit because I got family in Syracuse. I spent a lot of time there the last couple of years. My partner's from there. My partner is a huge Syracuse fan. So while I'll be rooting for your guys, he certainly won't be. But let's talk about this bracket a bit. So the 1 and 2 seeds will probably be the Army, Boeheim's Army, and Stars of Stores. And we can probably assume teams like Herkimer or the Magic Show will probably end up as their first round opponents, just the way the brackets work. So we're putting you in the sort of middle with Green Mountain Men, a first-year alumni of Vermont, Rise and Grind, a multiple-year team that I don't think's got a win yet. Brown Ballers, who had that huge upset against Dayton, which I was in the house for a few years ago. But I think the bulk of their team has gone to the Seek Warriors, actually. So I'm not sure how full that roster is going to be. And then you guys. So assuming they want to have you dodge Bayheim as long as possible, since you almost already beat them once, and assuming Stores will be probably the 2, that puts you in the 3-6 probably, right? I mean, it says, I mean, we're not going to do a bracketology, but that's about where you're thinking, right?
I think that's fair. To be honest, it's not 8 like we've been screwed the last first 3 or 4 years. And I think like that's because we've earned it, and I think like we've really kind of taken our time and kind of built a resume that is respectable. Last year they were gracious enough to give us a fair seed, which I thought was great, and we performed when we were given that opportunity. I think we'll continue to do so. Not to look ahead.
No.
I would love a UConn matchup. I really would. And I'll call them out right now for that. And so like I would really, just because I grew up in New England and things along those lines. But I would I think that'd be a fair assumption, kind of where, but to be honest, like with us, you know, as long as you're in that top half of seeding, I think that's fair for us. I do. And
Definitely.
Do we make even a deeper run this year?
Definitely. Ty, a lot of these fans who watch TBT have different. Most of them often root for the one college team they follow, but you guys are in multiple colleges, obviously, and there's a whole brand. So getting the neutrals on your side is always a big part of TBT. What would a casual basketball fan need to know about We Are D3 to put you on their list of teams they're supposed to root for? Like what? How do you get the crowd behind you?
I just feel like our name, it starts with our name, just being a Division III athlete. We just kind of get that support from the overall stadium. And then obviously, like you said in the past, we were the hunters. So I mean, we were always the lower seed. We were always the guys that weren't supposed to win the game. So I mean, just kind of gravitating towards, what Reg said about if we were to play against a team like UConn, it'd be huge for us. I feel like we'd get a ton of support from obviously we're from a bunch of different colleges, so we all have our different types of support systems. So I mean, I just feel like just playing against better teams, and it just helps us overall with the overall stadium and the atmosphere in the gym.
Yeah, and I think like we've had 2 moments where first year was at Bayheim's Army, when literally the only fans that were rooting for us were my wife and my kids.
I'm shocked she was rooting for you too, but go ahead.
Yeah, me too. By the end of that game, the whole arena up in Syracuse was chanting "We Are D3," and they were so upset with the way Syracuse was playing that they started cheering for us. Then it also happened last year against Heartfire, when that arena was chanting "We Are D3." So we're kind of like the Rocky that doesn't win against Rocky. You know what I mean? It's like we're first year Rockies. This year we want to be
last
Rocky
year
2.
Yeah, last year you got a game. That's true.
Now I want to be Rocky 3. I want to be Rocky 3 versus Drago, which could be
whoa. Hang on. Be careful what you wish for here, because I think he killed somebody. Yeah, let's calm down here.
True.
Yeah. Okay. So these teams are getting harder and harder to do. TBT has made the decision to charge teams rather large, 15 grand to get in this year. Fundraising is a constant stress. So how can people? Who has helped you, and how can people help We Are D3, get to the starting line, really?
Really, I think if we were a first-year team coming in this year, we couldn't do it. Like, we've had the resume for multiple years to really kind of ask and built a support system around us. First things first is like, Hardy Strong, Justin Hardy's Family's Foundation has been so supportive of us through the years. They've been a sponsor with us from day one. They helped
WashU grad, WashU player,
WashU grad. He was going to be with us, and now like kind of spreading their message, through our platform as well, for genetic testing for gastric cancer and so on and so forth. They've been huge for us. This year we had also, Pure Balance Pilates out of Phoenix. They came in huge and helped us out, which is awesome. We've had a couple financial investors, and you just kind of piece it together. But like really with those supports, like Pure Balance Pilates, with Hardy Strong, with some of the others that are coming in to support us, it takes a village for us to make it work, because it's not like we're making boatloads of money. We do need investors in us, and it also is like a lottery ticket. You invest with us. Now after every round we win, you get paid, the players get paid, everybody gets paid but me. But like, it's one of those things where, I don't do it for the check. But that's where I think like we've been very fortunate enough to build that, prove our concept, build the relationships over 7 years, and now we can really, make the ask, and they know that they're getting, for lack of a better
Value.
term, a nice product to be
Yeah.
represented by their brand.
Yeah.
And I think people have really bought into that. So I'm very fortunate for that. And, you just piece it together. Just being like, hey, restaurant here, you want to sponsor us for a meal? Cool, we'll put you on our shorts. Awesome. Like it's like that stuff, it's like, but we've been very fortunate enough in those regards. But if anybody wants to donate to us, please, Venmo, we are D3, please. We'll take it 100%. I think,
Venmo.
but Syracuse this year, a lot of D3s around there. I think we're going to have a nice fan base up in Syracuse, which is why I was excited to go there as well.
All right, that makes sense. Ty, let's close out with you. Unless there's anything else to say, what do we need to know about D3 going this year? Like, what's the closing argument for this team?
I feel like this was finally the year we make that run all the way to the Final Four. And then, after that, anything could happen. So I guess you could say we're going to the Final Four for sure.
Okay, that works.
Yeah,
we need to get you guys as hosts one year, actually, because maybe you guys would be co-hosts one year of a team. I don't know where that would be, but
I wanted to co-host with UConn.
There we go.
Or we could come to
because
Springfield.
It's
the home of basketball.
It's the home of basketball. I like that. Yeah, I mean, we could literally. I mean, the Hall of Fame, maybe. A Hall of Fame
about that a couple years ago, and my alma mater didn't show TBT too much love, which I got to talk.
Well, that's understandable if we're being honest. Okay, let's close with Reg. Let's close this. How has the roster come together? Like getting people excited. Let's close with this. How has the roster come together?
Yes, I think literally between Ty, Marcus Azor, and Demetrius Underwood, they're the best backcourt in the TBT, defensively and scoring wise. I will stake my chips on that one. You might get us on other positions and things like that, but I will stake when it comes to taking care of the ball, scoring, and defense. They're one of the tops, if not the top, and I think that they deserve that notoriety. I believe some of the players coming back. Alex Sobel really kind of proved himself as a big play with the best last year, and we got some nice new roster ads, which I'll kind of leave out, that I feel like are going to be really special additions to what we have going on. And on top of it all, we got some really long shooters with Thomas Quarry and Jackson Mashanik, who are coming off of great pro years. And our spicy tamale there, Daquan Davis, will also be back, who's also an elite guard. So I really feel like, and he's a big shot maker for us. So I feel like we're going to be, with the new guys coming in, I feel like the returners, and we still got 1 or 2 roster spots to figure out. So Ty, I might probably give you a shout on your boy there, but we're going to figure that out. But I feel like we have a nice balance of returners and newbies to keep this train rolling. But I do believe that I thought last year we had it too. If we got past Heartfire, we would have, who knows? But who would have ever thought Dayton? Everybody said Dayton was like the worst region. It was like, it ended up being like one of the best, like last year, especially with Solinger and company taking down the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like Syracuse is going to be a tougher region than maybe what we might think, but I feel like it's a nice situation for us.
Well, all I heard from that was best backcourt in TBT, and that's going to be the clip for this. So we're going to definitely you just put a lot of pressure on Ty's shoulders.
I will go to war. I will go to war with those dudes 100% and twice on Sunday. And
Sunday.
And like, not for nothing. They're gracious enough to let me coach their talents, which is great. And I'm very blessed for that. But hands down, like, I honestly, if we did like a big 3 TBT, let's do it, because those 3 would kill, and we don't even have a big in that.
Yeah, we're not doing big 3. We do real basketball here. We're not doing big 3, that half-court abomination nonsense. Ty Nichols, Michael Rejniak, we are D3. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming by.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Hope you enjoyed listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hainer. Subscribe to YouTube, follow on Twitter, and give us your money.